Ready? Again, going back through again last week. Again, disappointing loss. Didn't play well several phases early. I think we had a stretch of defense started well, gave up a touch. Well, they had 3 plays, but I think we go 3 and out, 2-play turnover, 3 and out, 4 and out. So defense had some good starts early. Offense only mustered 13 points. I think in our offensive start, we go field goal, 3 and out, touchdown, 3 and out, field goal, 3 and out, our first 6. So had a chance early to get some momentum, just didn't capture it. They got on the run, hit a few touchdowns on us. We actually punted 5 straight times in a row and got behind 35-13. It's a heck of a comeback. I think it shows a lot about our kids and buying in, playing hard and staying with it and fighting. And then there's a great stretch where not only are we scoring, but we get 3 straight stops. We're getting the ball back. We're playing good in all phases. Thought our kicking game effort was really good for the game. Coverage on kicks, kickoffs, coverage on punts. Our play, we did have 1 kickoff out of bounds. Kick return, finally popped 1. Got to get our punt return just close, but didn't get the opportunities we needed. Thought kicking was pretty good. So again, I see a lot of growth. We need to get W's though, because I know talking with their coaches, they even said it a week ago, and talking with those before the game, the best thing about the victories, it just solidifies what you're doing, and it really kind of keeps the energy of your fan base and your recruiting and all that. So tough go at the end. Just didn't execute something at the end we needed to do, but that kind of happens, and we got to coach and call better plays and put them in better spots, and we got to make plays too. Offensive player of the game is Tevin Coleman. Excellent game. I think he's up right now for, what is it, who's my Notre Dame guy?
Oh, the Horning.
He's one of the players of the week for the Horning Award. Played a heck of a game. A lot of energy, effort, played fast, played hard, got great complimentary play from Stephen Houston, which we needed. And both those guys over 100. I think it's the first time since 2003 we've had 200-yard backs in a Big Ten game. So, pretty good show from those guys. And again, because how we're throwing it, kind of setting up the run, we got to keep building on that. Defensively, did not have a player of the game. It's several weeks in a row. We got to keep working there. I thought there was a lot more effort. We tried to attack them a little bit more. We got burned some. We made some plays some. We just got to keep fighting and gaining there. Special team players of the game, Greg Heben was on a couple teams, made a great play. And even D'Angelo Roberts actually made a nice play there, because his job is to secure the kick. And what he did in his job actually made the reverse guy kind of bubble and bought a little time, made the guy go a little deep, and gave Heben a chance to make a nice play and get the ball for us. And then we gave honored Jake Sapanzik, again, a guy that's played for us in years past, a 4th-year player, a walk-on guy for us, who came out and played on 2 teams. Not only did he make a nice tackle at the end there on the kick team, but did a great job in kickoff return, and we finally popped a couple kickoff returns, so recognize Jake. Our behind-the-scenes guys, offensive scouts of the week, and a lot of times we're working our second-team guys a little bit on scout team, because second-team guys don't get a lot of work, and we thought Dimitri Camille, who plays a little bit and plays second-team tackle, but had him working on our scout team to give our defense a better go. Dimitri Camille and David Graham for the offense, or the offensive scouts. And then defensively, Justin Nowak, who's played well for us in some special teams, backup DB. Mike Raplogel, who plays on teams and is our fullback when we get those sets, which we seldom do. And Patrick Doherty, young defensive lineman. So those are the 3 guys there. So yesterday had some light work, trying to keep our guys kind of focused, fresh. Physically, I thought our effort, energy was really pretty good. Some things we got to correct and clean up and coach better, and some mistakes they got to fix. But at the same time, the effort and the way those guys play are very much what we're trying to build our team on. So we talked a lot about 4 weeks to go, 2/3 of the season. Prognosticators say everything's over, but in our world, there's a lot of football to play, a lot of things we can accomplish, and the best thing to do it, our constant goal is consistent improvement, constant improvement. 2 weeks in a row, we played a pretty good team. We got them into the 4th quarter and hadn't been able to get over the hump. We've gotten, a couple good wins this year against a couple good teams, but we're getting close, and we're in those games. And our deal is we got to keep fighting and pushing to knock that thing down. So I wouldn't say we're blowing games as much as we're playing some good teams, getting in close games, not executing at the end. You got to make a play. You got to make good play calls. You got to get stops. You got to play O&D, but the team's kind of right there, and that's our deal. We're at that part of the race where you can keep pushing and stop, or you can keep going, and we've came too far to get negative and stop pushing. So we kind of put it on those guys. We'll see how the week goes. I expect us to have a good week. I expect Illinois coming in 3-5, much like us, a hungry team, needing wins. as their building. So I think it's going to be a good challenge, exciting game at 3:30. We're down to 4-2 at home, and we need to have another good crowd and get some energy in the stands for the guys this week. So questions?
Coach, what is the mindset? You talked a little bit about, the fight and pushing and that sort of thing. How did the team come back yesterday after that kind of a loss?
And that's a tough deal because, you want them to hurt a little. And the locker room was hurting a lot because it's like, hey, man, that was a comment from one couple people. It's like, that's the first time I've ever even seen it like that because that was a game we wanted. We had a chance, and we just weren't able. We had chances all game. We have a missed touchdown opportunity in the first drive. So we can talk about the last blunder, all it was. But, we gave ourselves a chance by it. So we tried to, late Saturday night, snap out of it. I tried to rally the coaches up and say, man, these kids are giving us a good go and they're fighting. We got to keep coaching better. We got to keep pushing them to do better. But there's a lot of positive energy because I think we got a lot of good guys in all phases of our program buying in. Let's keep pushing. And so last night at dinner, it wasn't quiet. At the same time, it wasn't goofing and laughing like it was fun, but they were talking and watching the pro game, and it was pretty good. We had our workout. We didn't overdo a lot. We actually just kind of got them really loose and lifted and tried to get some soreness out and really got into the tape work. And I think in talking to them, they appear good, but it'll be interesting. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. These guys have worked hard, so we're trying to practice, like I said several weeks ago, trying to coach these guys like they're winning because I think they're giving us winning effort. And we got to keep putting them in good places and building on our strengths, and making corrections, and we got to keep putting it together because we got to get some W's for these guys down the stretch. So I did think like yesterday there was, I thought it was not quote positive, but I didn't think it was a bad day. We'll see how we go tomorrow as we start working through the week.
The coaching staff comes from a lot of different varied backgrounds, but from a fan standpoint, do you think that it's possible for you guys to understand the breadth and depth of frustration from a fan base that desperately wants you to do well, but continues to see teams come short, not just this year, but in the past as well?
Yeah, and I can appreciate and understand that. And at the same time, I saw the crowd that was standing there, and we had the last play, and it's got a chance to be a pretty good comeback. I think the ones you need to look at is Ted Bolzer and Stephen Houston and Mitch Ewald and those guys because they've been running all the sprints and doing all the work. And again, not coach speak, we're making some gains, but we got to get W's. And the W's will be more for the outside world and for the seniors. And my deal is we got 4 weeks to go, and we got some great opportunities. Let's keep, because we're right there knocking on it, let's keep knocking on it, knock it down, and saying, well, we got close, let's try again later. There's a lot of football to play, 2/3 of the season, 4 weeks to go, 2 great home opportunities, 2 great road travels. But really it comes back to now, let's get back to this week. Matter of fact, we tried not to get rid of the Minnesota game. We went back and talked about, look at all the good things you're doing here. Look at 15 minutes and 51 seconds, it's 26-0. And you're flat out rolling, playing in all phases good. And look at this first half, we're out of sync, and we give us some things, and we had a critical error at the end. If you get in a one-possession game, you can make an error. But because of their effort and fight, they gave us a one-possession deal. So, I appreciate our fans and feel for them, but all I know is those guys are giving them a good go, and I believe our staff. Matter of fact, I'm almost worried sometimes staff, you work too much. It's like, keep some sanity, get away, go get a workout. Don't be here to midnight. You know what you're doing, you know the plays you're going to run, and get these kids buying in and playing harder. And so there's a part of me, I feel for our fans, but I'm telling you, these guys are close, and it's my job to keep us coming because we can get close and fall short, or we can get close and keep coming. Our deal is we're so close. Let's don't change. Let's keep fighting, competing. And to me, I think it's the hardest step because it's the next step. And we've gotten to the point, and it's kind of nice to feel some frustration because there was a point in time I didn't know if anyone really cared sometimes. So I kind of like some fans that are upset. It's what you want. You want them in the stands. You want them loud. You want them critical. It's a part of a good football program is you got an energized fans. They're reading your stuff. They're on the message boards. They're calling in the call-in shows. We'll get our 2 calls tonight, right, Don? You want people calling. Why are you doing this? What are you thinking? Great job. Why did you do that? What about this? That's a part of the game. It goes with it. It's what you want, and you want columns that are critical. What are you thinking here or there? It's nice because that's a part of winning. And to me, I think I think in general, we've all came. And now we all got to keep coming. Like I said earlier, the best way to do it is to do it together. So I'm going to keep this bunch downstairs together. And it's not just for them and pat the seniors on the back. These guys have gotten us close. We're right there, and we need to make that judge that step. And again, the more people that are with us, the easier it's going to be. But which came first, the chicken or egg? Bottom line, we got to win, and it's all going to come easier after we do that. And we're right there. Now it's the next step, and that is the hard step, the winning step. I don't think there's one reason why we're losing. We're not playing well enough. Is it a lack of is it poor play calling? Is it poor coach management? Is it lack of players? Is it injuries? What I mean, you're coming up short, and it's a combination of all, because we're collectively a part of the problem and we're collectively the answer, and that's our deal. So we're keeping our word. You saddle the horses, and you rally them up, and you circle the wagons, and keep fighting and punching, and that'll be the plan this week, and that's going to be the plan through this season. And then you can regroup and see where you're at and assess, adjust your recruiting, and move forward. But right now, you're right there. Let's keep going and give ourselves a chance. If we don't, we give ourselves no chance. And these players should give us a chance. And as a coach, I got to keep us going. That's been my mojo the last 2 days. Sure.
What went through your mind as you watched the tape and you watched that last play?
Excuse me?
As you watched that last play on tape, what went through your mind? Because after the game,
Well, again, we were coming off a timeout. They take a timeout, and they took one actually to give them a chance to get their call up. And they had played basically a man coverage the play before, a two-man. They showed the same look, and we actually called a play to beat that coverage, and off that they triggered 2 blitzers. We actually didn't block it right off the backside in protection, so the quarterback's feeling some deal, and he throws it a little quicker. As the guy comes off the edge, Tevin, bellies out to kind of get away from it, and then Nate feels it and throws it a little quick, and now it's a backwards pass. It shouldn't be. But it was one of those where, again, we didn't do a good job as coaches. We got bluffed and put us in a play, because we're in a no play call too. We did it at the line. We saw they were in. They did a great job. They took a timeout. Matter of fact, I actually think Coach Clay said that they took a timeout to get it in. And kind of because the play before they'd done it, we ran it down there pretty good. And so anyway, and then I'm seeing the ball coming to me. I actually wanted to run out and get the sucker, because it was actually about, I almost ran on the field because I couldn't believe I was seeing the ball. So, but again, just a poor play call on our part. I have the opportunity, and as coaches, we're all kind of do it together. Could have changed it, could have executed it better. But that, again, to me, doesn't minimize what our kids did getting us back, and that's what I went back to. Okay, we got down there and didn't call the right play and didn't execute it good, but because of what happened, and we had one busted coverage, on the drive before. But other than that, there's about a 20-minute mark where we're playing against a good team, lights out football. High-level football, and we got to work to do that more consistently, more often, because we're going to need that this week, and we're going to need that on these road games, and we're going to need it in the bucket game.
How fast did you kind of make the read? You talked about wanting it to hurt at least a little bit, but when you get in that locker room, how fast did you kind of make the read that, we've got to accentuate the positives here. We can't let this read.
Really not till later that night, and then just try to, start reaching out to guys and let's get them going. And with the team yesterday, so. I think everybody was, emotionally and physically exhausted and drained. I think our fans were. I think you guys were, and so, just, and again, it's no moral victories, because I'm not into that. It is what it is. We're here to win. Now we're kind of building up. We're getting close, but bottom line, we're here to win. And coming up short is not acceptable. Not acceptable by me. Not acceptable to me, our administration. Not acceptable by, like I say, the standards of the school. And the school's pretty good at some things, and it's our job to get it there. So. We've gotten a little closer, but now we got to keep on coming. So, and again, there was a lot of things that needed to be corrected. And we had a lot of direct, straight criticism yesterday on things that need to be corrected. For example, we got certain guys that need to quit worrying if they're better than someone else and start being the best you can, and start beating yourself out. Start playing as well as you can. Don't worry about how Tevin Coleman's doing. Steven, you do as good as you can and see what that is. You just take care of you. Quarterbacks, quit worrying about the other guy. You just take care of you. You beat yourself up. You make tomorrow better individually. You make tomorrow better in practice as a team. And that's what we talked about. Hey, here's where we are. We came. Our constant goal is constant improvement. And we need to see what we did well, see what we need to improve on. Let's go do it this week. So it was a pretty direct meeting too. So it wasn't like, hey, feel good for us. No, that stunk. And there was a lot of bad football in that game. A lot. A lot of bad coaching, a lot of bad playing, a lot of bad execution. And there was a period of time it was pretty doggone good. So how do we accentuate that? How to learn from the mistakes. So we don't acknowledge that the mistakes didn't happen, or don't acknowledge that. No, these are things. You cannot go as an offense, have 5 consecutive punts with our style and expect to have the outcome you want. To overcome that shows a lot about the kids and what they're capable of.
How did the running game get going for you, especially down the stretch? Big holes for the backs. It looked like you ran out of the pistol pretty well.
How did it?
Pardon me?
You say how did it?
Yeah, what was the key to all of a sudden that really opening up?
A little bit, maybe throw. You kind of throw to set up the pass. A little bit sometimes now. Maybe Nate's and Aaron are thinking it's more pass. You get more pass. You get more man to man. They get a little bit more tired. The line actually did a very, very good job of blocking and stayed on blocks, and both those backs, even D'Angelo Roberts. Great play by D'Angelo. on the touchdown play, who we faked it to, didn't get it, come back and got a block, and was actually at the end, played a 70-yard play. Great play by D'Angelo and some kicking plays. So great effort there. So, just wasn't, but again, you were down. It wasn't like abandoned. You got to take what's there, and that's a part of the no-huddle stuff. We're not trying to, sometimes we're trying to go some tempo so you don't get the perfect play up. So some of the plays need to be reasonably clean. Other times you're getting some calls up. There's some times where, hey, they were playing a pass and we got to some runs and the numbers worked in our favor, and then we blocked it well for us. And that was a decent front. And so that was a sign. And again, we're playing with Bailey and a couple linemen now, so I think it shows those guys are gaining on it. And that's what we expect. And when you start seeing with some of those guys on defense, good to see Jake Sapanzi come in, and Brandon Gruby played well kicking, and we had Ryan Thompson played well in the kick. Some first-timer guys haven't played a lot. We need to start seeing some of that a little bit more consistent with our defense. We got some young guys. They've now played a lot. Some of them get a little beat up, and we got to do a good job in practice. When you're not doing well, you need to practice hard and do a lot. But then when you're getting beat up, you over-practice how fresh are you. So it's a double-edged sword. We got to keep making some strides in all phases. And we've got some examples of guys who are stepping up, and we're trying to show that and challenge some other guys. Hey, you're capable too. It's your turn to start. Get your oar in the water and hold your end of the rope here a little bit.
Is there a position area where you're most proud of the way that the guys have continued battle, whether it be offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, running back, whatever? Is there one group that you say these guys really get it and they're really coming the way I want them?
No, I do really like Bolzer's effort is at a level that's never been at for about 3 or 4 weeks. He had a couple, he just kind of was getting after some guys downfield, just playing fast and hard, almost out of control, and sometimes maybe missing, but his effort and energy. So I'm seeing some things out of some older guys that you kind of like, and you want them to, the best way to lead is by example. And I've been, again, very impressed. I thought, again, Tevin has played a lot. It was nice to see Steven, because I've talked to Steven and DeWeese, and down the stretch, Kofi's done well. I want to see how much can we get Greg Heben. So my comment is I've got a lot of respect for those guys, because we had some guys that didn't stick with us, and they could have been with those guys, and they chose to do different. They bought in, and not only buying in by talk, they're buying in by action, and they're playing as hard and giving us. If they're not giving us all they got, boy, I don't know what's in there, but they're giving a whole lot. I know that. So to sit here saying he's giving all he's got, I don't know what all he got is, but man, I'm getting a good go out of a lot of guys, and I respect them and appreciate that. Our team does.
You mentioned, the quarterbacks are, kind of getting in their head a little bit, who's playing, who's not. Has that thing gotten a little bit more difficult to handle?
Well, it is because of you guys, because everybody's on their phone. So everybody goes to Twitter and hits whatever, and everybody's got comments, whether it be a personal rip of him or an article you guys write saying this guy should be or that guy should be or this guy does. So it's just hard. And my deal is quit comparing yourself, quit worrying about, and I go, you're going to do this. The whole world does this. Go to an airport, nobody talks. So you're going to do that. That's okay to do that. But at the end of the day, it comes down, you need to make sure you look in the mirror, and I had a better meeting than I did yesterday. I had a better lift. I warmed up in warm-ups today better than I did the day before, whatever my role is on the field. And again, I went back and I shared the story a few years ago. We were playing a championship game, and Tebow had won the Heisman, and then Bradford won the Heisman. And we were getting ready to play, and a guy asked Sam, compare yourself to Tebow. And I wanted to say, I'm sure, I'm a little bit of a throw guy, and he's a running type guy. As I'm sure the direction, because every time you ask a question, there's a slant to your article, and we need to validate your slant when you ask the question, right? And he had the greatest answer I've ever heard kids say. He goes, I don't compare myself to anyone. I'm just trying to be the best I can be. I'm just trying to take care of myself. And I'm not trying to be, I was taught as a kid, I'm not trying to be better than no one. I'm not trying to be better than him. I'm just trying to be my best. And that's what I shared with the quarterbacks yesterday. Let's just start worrying about you, and you be better than you. Quit worrying about him, quit worrying about me, quit worrying about the offense, quit worrying about the other. You just take care of you. And individually, let's take care of us. Let's coach better. Let's play better. Let's do it across the board. Let's do it as an O. Let's do it as a D. Let's keep coming along and kicking. And so again, that was again, and that. So again, there's not like there's issues. It's just hard in this day and age, and you want to be the guy. Well, the best way to be the guy, like I tell him every day, LeBron James has fundamentally awesome practices. Kevin Durant's working his tail off at a high level. There's a reason why Tom Brady went from splitting time at Michigan to a Hall of Fame guy. Okay? There's reasons why. There's reasons why Peyton Manning was and is what he is, because there's a reason every day the first golf lesson you ever had is grip and stance. And the greatest players ever are looking at their grip and stance every second, every day. It's keep working on fundamentals and keep buying the process and keep coming. So that was the direction of yesterday. We're going to change what we're doing. We got some things we got to fix. We got some short thing fixed, but you just worry about you. So you watch those guys, they're chest bumping everybody and they're high fiving everybody and they're good teammates. But my comment to them yesterday, and again, Trey was a little bit off early. We thought we needed him for the runaround. It actually helped us in the second half. It set some things up. Nate came in and played well. They're both very capable. They're both a little inconsistent. We're going to keep them coming. And there's no problems. There's no controversy. And we're not mad at them. I just want them to keep getting better. I expect them. And that's my job. We expect them to.
Has it gotten any harder to guess right with them, I guess, in terms of who's going to be on that day?
Well, they can tell you. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's hot. Yeah. The nice thing for us is the offense doesn't change. We might call a little bit more run plays that could get in Trey's hand that maybe doesn't always get called, but the passing's the same. So it's not like only call this play for Nate, only call this pass play for Trey. The offense stays the same. You might emphasize some of Trey's ability to run. That's the only difference. So for the most part, the blocking stays the same. The fringe players run the same. It's not two different offenses. You can look at warm-ups. I've seen one guy warm up hot and play horrible. For what one of the old basketball do, you make every shot in warm-ups, you can't make one in the game. I mean, I've seen that. Like I saw one person, wow, this guy's hot today, and went out there and struggled. So I mean, sometimes, I mean, we for a couple, sometimes we don't even tell them. I mean, it's just practice. They're kind of equal, and maybe the reason they're equal is they're comparing themselves to each other. And that's what I told them yesterday. Maybe that's why we're staying the same, because when you're up and down, you're really just staying the same. So maybe you're up and down because you're just worried about him. Once you worry about you, take your game to the next level and quit comparing it to somebody else. And there's no problems. We're just going to keep working and making them really good because we're not quite there yet. Anything else?
Kevin, yesterday, Gary Kubiak collapsed during the game, and John Fox had a problem during the golf tournament on Saturday.
I just tried the blood pressure machine downstairs on the way up.
I was just going to ask, you're particularly college coaches, they're on the road even more than pro coaches because of the recruiting and that sort of thing. How do you try and maintain your health during that? Have you had any kind of health scares?
No, thankfully. But again, I just share with the guys, like I mentioned earlier, like right now they all should be working out. And because one, you need to get away from it a little bit. You need to get your blood flowing. It's good for longevity, but it's also good for your mind. It's good. You're going to get some better ideas instead of just sitting there grinding. You can get writer's block as a coach, and you only see what you see. So I mean, you need to get away. So I'm trying to encourage our guys, because our guys, I can promise you this: the players and coaches are all given, in my opinion, me an extremely strong go as far as effort. We need to be more productive, and we need to do a better job. And I think one of the best ways of doing it is taking care of yourself. And so to rest well, you'll be more positive, you'll be more energized, and I think we need to work out. So, and I'm not a great workout guy, and I got some minor deals that make me want to walk and run less than I need to run, and make my body and knees and back hurt more than it needs to. But you do make a great point. I don't think it's just for our profession. I think there's a lot of great organizations where you shut down and just don't get a double cheeseburger, but get out and get yourself some walk, get some fresh air. We're in buildings all day, so you can just get stale. So just to get out and get some fresh air. Did you get a workout in? Seth? Did you get a workout in? No. See, he didn't follow the rules. Did I say we're supposed to get a workout in, right? Huh? So anyway, it's a part of it. And at the same time, is it the stress of the job? Yeah. But there's also hereditary issues, lifestyle issues, but my deal is, we got a great group of guys, players and coaches working hard, and to be successful, you got to be confident, and the best way to be confident is to be rested. So you got to work hard and feel like you're prepared, know what's going on, but you can overwork and over-prepare, and there's a fine balance there. My previous boss was one of the best at it. He'd shut her down every day about 11:20, 11:30, and he was going to hit golf balls for an hour and a half, or he was going to go get a workout in and ride a bike. And Coach Walker was a pretty good workout guy. So we're kind of shared that with the guys last week. Matter of fact, when the team was warming up today, I was on a treadmill inside when they were out there doing a little bit of warm-ups. Matter of fact, the referee came in. I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to stay calm so I don't yell at you guys today." But anyway, it's part of it. It's a great question. Everybody good? Good. Have a great one. Appreciate you being here.